Deb Coviello coming to you again, live talk media, where it's my weekly show where I get a chance to connect with you. Hey, did you enjoy that new music that comes off of StreamYard? It was a nice change. But anyway, I am flying here by the seat of my pants. I wanted to show up, and I'm trying to think, what am I going to talk about this week? And again, I don't like to show up just to talk and take up space, but there is a purpose. And it's really, I want to share with you something that is part of my talking point. And I want you to reflect perhaps on a couple of these stories and think about for yourself, for the work that you do and the people that you interact with, how do you leave a lasting impact? How do you leave your legacy? And I think the topic today is agnostic of what you are doing, whether you work in a corporation, you're a consultant, you're a coach. I had to try to figure out like what demographic am I talking about. And you know what? I'm just going to say I'm going to cast the net wide. I am speaking to all of you. We are here for a finite amount of time, and I think we need to reflect sometimes on why are we here? And what should we be doing with this valuable time? If you're a homemaker and you're invested in raising others, whether it's children or elderly people, that is a great pursuit, and you are leaving a legacy in the lives of others. When I talk to you right now, I'm going to be talking to you in the context of my podcast. And my podcast in the beginning was just because I love interviewing and talking to people and the possibility of creating some great content and sharing with you. And then it kind of evolved into, I am creating some really meaningful connections along the way for which I've stayed connected with a lot of these people, and perhaps I've been in service to them. And then recently, I've been much more present during the conversations, not so scripted, just like today, and being present and truly listening to what they say, what they do, how they show up in the world. And they are leaving a lasting impact. So I want to share with you 3 stories of some podcast interviews that I've had. Again, it fulfills this greater purpose in my theme this year of connecting with humanity. Because I think in the process of connecting with humanity, magic is going to happen. And pull away, and this is so hard for me, pull away from necessarily the outcomes or the results, because I've got to stop chasing results. I have to start pursuing peace of mind, which is part of my my talking points, and in the process really enjoy the human element. And so I'm going to share with you 3 quick stories where perhaps if you think about it, they impact you, they inspire you, but also think about how these individuals are leaving a lasting impact on society. And then I want you to reflect a little bit on what are you doing in your daily life? Who are you connecting with? And how are you leaving a lasting impact? So this first one, it was a great interview with both a CEO and a COO. I'd known them for some time. I love what they do. And, they provide a service to the community. But in the process, they also give back. They help the environment. They touch the lives of individuals. And I was actually tearing up during the process because I said to myself, I've been interviewing so many CEOs that deliver results and products and services, but I need to now focus maybe on some of the more smaller companies, the ones that are doing really purposeful work, because now I am starting to interview more of these nonprofits or ones that maybe aren't big revenue generators, but the impact on people's lives are touching my life as well. And so all I want to do is do more and be able to talk to more nonprofits and learn about the work that they're doing for the community and the differences that they are making in people's lives directly. Now, I still love talking to CEOs of large organizations that provide millions and billions of dollars worth of service. But the problem with that sometimes, if we don't have the right cultures, you kind of lose connectivity with who the end consumer is. And so I'm really touched by those companies that I interview that are truly seeing the direct impact of what they do on the lives of the people they serve, both directly and indirectly. They're leaving their legacy on society. They may run a business, but I simply think it's an enabler for them to be able to serve others. That is leaving a lasting impact. Now, this other one, I just interviewed this gentleman yesterday. He's had me recently on his podcast, and we did a podcast swap. And he's He's been a consultant in the leadership industry. And his story was amazing. We conducted the interview, but I asked him a really interesting question. It was really interesting. I said, you've never actually been a CEO of a large corporation for which you can share stories of leadership and elevating others. But his humble beginnings were in the ministry and other types of work along the way. But being a student of leadership, he gathered so many insights, whether he was speaking to people, reading books, listening to podcasts. He then became a go to thought leader in the area of leadership. And I asked him during the interview, I said, how were you able to do this and become a consultant in this area without actually being in those roles? And he answered properly, and it was a great conversation. He even made me tear up during the interview. I can't wait to listen to it again because something he said also inspired me and validated who I was as a human being. But the interesting thing was that the following day, he wrote me an email telling me he really appreciated the opportunity to be on the podcast. And then he also said, I just want to let you know is that nobody ever asked me that question before, and I had to really think hard about how did I become a thought leader in a space that I typically didn't have the typical profile. And he says, you made me realize that I can, if I put my mind to anything and I am a student and I learn, I said, I can do anything I want to do just by learning and studying and interacting with people. And it brought great joy to me that I was just a curious person. But when I asked the question of him that made him think hard and reflect about how did he arrive at the place that he did, he thanked me for helping him reflect and realize his gift and his value. Did I leave a legacy? Did I leave an impact? Maybe just a small one, just a small reflection in the life of somebody else, or maybe we've changed the trajectory. And this last one I want to share with you. Another CEO I connected with. And we've had several discovery calls. We've been kind of going back and forth before actually doing the interview. He's a big to-do, at least in my mind. Though from the perspective of humanity, he's just another human being. And that's how I treated him. And I discovered his story, which is absolutely amazing. And I said his story needs to be told. And he was unsure of me in the beginning because perhaps he's been in circumstances where there was always an angle or you had to pay to play, or should he be suspicious because of situations in his story for which it's hard to trust people. And I just said, I invited you to be on the show. I think you've got a great story to tell. And as we got to know each other, I soon realized he's a big deal. At least in my mind, he's a big deal. He is disrupting society in the work that he's pursuing. And in the process, he basically has said he's trusted me with the interview. He didn't have to do the interview. He can get an interview with any major magazine or what have you. I think he's pretty well known. But the fact that he trusts me because I spent the time getting to know him deeply and caring about him, his challenges, his successes, and wanting to just share his story with my community, I may have left an impact on that person. Will I gain a lot from it? I'm not looking for that. But I just know the satisfaction of being able to take a human being who's had a really interesting story and bring it to light and shine a light on that story. That's the impact that I really want. If anything else comes of it, I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I'm grateful. But in the moment, there's a human being out there whose story needs to be told. And I'm leaning into my ability to interview, to moderate, to listen, to ask curious questions. And like I said, shine a light on other people's gifts. That seems to be a direction that I'm going in now. But it's because I enjoy podcasting. I enjoy showing up. I enjoy shining a light on others. I enjoy inspiring others, maybe influencing people, and ultimately leaving a lasting impact. And on the converse side, the people that I speak to, them leaving a lasting impact on myself. So I know I've rambled a little bit, sharing a few stories of my adventures in podcasting and some of the incredible people that I've met and the impact that I've had on them and they on me. But I turn to you and ask you a question. You're not broken. I don't always want to show up as a Debbie Downer. I want you to think positively about who you are as a person. And are you present in all your conversations, whether it's with your family or community or the people that are in your care or you work with? Do you take the time to just say, hey, I just want to let you know, thank you? Or, oh my God, you're really good at this. Or did you realize the impact that you had? I want all of you to take a moment to just recognize the people that we interface, the humans. We are all the same at the core, even though there are genetic and physical attributes that may make us look different. Have you taken the time to shine a light on somebody else's gifts and maybe change the directory of that moment or that day or that year or of a lifetime of an individual? Have you left a lasting impact on others? Also, have you allowed others, by being deeply present, receive their gifts and recognize how they may have left a lasting impact on you? And if they have, let them know and just say thank you for them connecting and realizing the great gifts that you have. And you can do the same. So that was a little bit of Deb Coviello Live Talk Media. I want to thank you for dropping in and listening to this conversation, whether you're present now or seeing it on the replay. I love connecting with you. I love hearing your stories. I love just providing you value and insights and send you on your way. And hopefully I've left a lasting impact on you. But if you want to connect with me, maybe just subscribe to my newsletter, go to my website, dropinceo.com, and sign up. I send out some things periodically of inspiration, offers, new insights for you. I try to be as informative and provide value as much as possible. You can also find me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you're still my friend, I think. Direct message me, Deborah A. Coviello, the Drop-In CEO. It is me answering all of those questions or insights if you want to connect with me. I just love connecting with humanity, hearing about you and your story, and maybe I can shine a light on it. So with that, I just want to wish you well, much success. Come back next week if I keep that schedule, but love that you comment, show up, give me feedback. I always welcome it, but I just want to say thank you so much, and I wish you well, and take care.